Welcome, G.I. Joe Classified fans. My buddy Ed was on the hunt. That's Ed from Rebels, Reptiles, and Games, who is hosting a big toy show coming up this weekend in Springfield. That is the Cobra Springfield, by the way, of course. All right, so we are really lucky. We got our hands on Sci-Fi. I had a Sergeant Slaughter mainline figure, the ones that went on sale at Ollie's for $12.50. I had a pair of those that I actually bought from Ed last year, and actually 2 years ago, and I hung on to those. And Sergeant Slaughter came through town, and I got him to sign both of those, kept one for myself, and wanted to get that other one back to Ed, so we made the swap for Sci-Fi. Here he is. I got him a little bit early, and we have the figure here, and we have his accessories. We got a really cool new two-piece blast effect. He's got his helmet, and there are two different visors for that helmet. So right off the bat, of course, that green really pops and really sticks out. Don't know that we have anybody else in that particular green, and his armor looks great as well. Now, some of these pieces I believe would be overlays. I know this is an overlay. These I believe are not. Those are painted on. I think at least have the overlays on the boots here, but I do believe that those are attached to him. Okay, so I've seen a few folks complaining about the head sculpt. I like it from certain angles. It reminds me a little bit of John Hamm. Of course, the gun is probably the most important piece, and Sci-Fi certainly has one of those signature weapons. Come on. There we go. And as you can see, there is a display panel on that gun. I can't quite read what's on it, but maybe we'll get a shot. Obviously, though, there is some cool paint app happening on that gun. And then he has the hose, which leads to the backpack, and that is new tooling as well. So I do believe that he is completely new tooling. Now here we have something that some folks are going to complain about with the green going against the silver there, but honestly I think they did a pretty darn good job with that. And I feel like the gun itself is a harder plastic than what they've previously been using. I don't know that that's true, but I feel like this gun is really, it's straight as an arrow as far as that goes. Let's get a little bit more light on this guy as we take a look at that gun. Let's pop one of these helmets on him. So there are two different overlays that pop into that helmet and cover his face. Now obviously this one covers the entire face, and let's take a look at that blast effect. So it's two pieces, and it gives you the option of, I think, the super blast, where there's a buildup of energy, and then you would have a more of a basic blast without that energy ball. I gotta tell you, this is the first time I've popped that full face cover on there, and I do kind of like it. I did some shots already using the half face cover, and I like that one too. I've seen some criticism of this helmet already. It is a rubbery type helmet. It just kind of slides over his head, and then you pop that overlay in there, so some people aren't too crazy about it. I am just getting into lighting my blast effects, and this is what I'm using from Ulanzi. And now I noticed, I believe it was Megatron who I noticed using these first, so his shots are always so good. And I don't even know that he really necessarily uses these to light up the effects, but it really does add quite a bit. And I'm just getting into working with these effects, especially with the Ghost Vipers and all their green effects. So I'm having a good time with that, and we will check out that alternate overlay in some photos. What do you guys think? Do you feel like there's maybe something lacking as far as the loadout? I really don't. I think with the blast effect, it sort of makes up for whatever criticisms that we might have. I think this current New Wave really looks good, and I don't think there's a stinker in there. So I'm excited. I can't say that I think Sci-Fi is a 10. He's just not one of my favorite characters. I like him, but he's not one of my favorites. But I would give this one probably an 8 of 10. It's a solid effort, and certainly one that I'm happy to have in my collection, and I think he will photograph quite well, and I really like the options. Might have been cool to get some fists with him, but we probably have some black fists that we could use. All right, folks, curious about your thoughts on Sci-Fi. Thanks for watching.